My husband is my muse, okay?
How does he feel about that?
He survives. But he's like, every time he says something, and I'm like, let me get my notebook. He's like, no. You want to make it look like, I'm just thinking of this now. But really, it's taken so long to get there.
How do you see yourself and your legacy as a future ancestor?
I'm 48. I'm already an ancestor.
Oh my God. You are now listening to the Future Ancestors podcast. I'm your host, Jason Insight, alongside my co-host, Kat Serrano.
Hey.
Got a special guest in the building today, so I'm just going to do my thing and give her a proper introduction. So, Filipinos have a humor all their own, and when I first heard of the comedy series Banana Ketchup, the title made me a little bit hungry at first, but then it reminded myself that the two words combined is quite confusing to the general public. From the outside looking in, ketchup is made out of bananas seems ridiculous. I think that's the perfect way that our guest today, Patricia Dinglasan, introduces our culture to the masses. With, of course, food discussion is always the gateway to giving our nature and our culture, but a specific reference to the American audiences on why our cultures are forever intertwined. Patricia has taken the Banana Ketchup series on both coasts with founding partner Kyle Marion and has opened up a central destination of up-and-coming established AAPI comedians and a platform to show their skills to a familiar crowd after only starting in 2021. 2 years later, the duo created the Filipino Comedy Festival, the first of its kind. Patricia's been featured on New York Pix 11 News, Next Shark, and Vogue Philippines. You can catch her at the Filipino Comedy Festival on September 26th and 27th at the Bindle Stiff in San Francisco. So welcome to the Future Ancestors podcast, Patricia Dinglasan. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. No, we've been trying to schedule it, so I'm glad that it aligned and everything.
Yeah.
Perfect timing. You want to kick it off?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so we're going to start it off, obviously. So when did your comedy journey begin, and was there a comedian that led you?
It really, I think my official start in comedy began in 2018 when I figured out like, oh, I have to go to open mics and write jokes and really get into the comedy scene. But honestly, like as a Filipino person, it starts when you're a kid. I was always the kid like dancing, sayaw, like dancing for the relatives and always performing. And I remember when I was in third grade, I brought home a report card from Mrs. Carr. And she's like, Patricia is one of the smartest students in the class, but gets distracted by being the class clown. And my mom was like, oh, no, 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 no. So like it was like always in me, but it was so just like shut down like all the time during my childhood. And yeah, it didn't really start comedy until my 40s. So it's taken a while. I'm a late bloomer, yeah.
No, I think it's
You
perfect
lit in
timing.
late dormant, but then it's out now.
I
so-
know, it's going to come out no matter what. So might as well just go for it. Well,
Yeah.
you're
let-
young.
let you-
Yeah.
So where's your family from in the Philippines?
My mom's side is from Binyan,
Okay.
Laguna, so south of Makati. And then my dad's side is from Rojas City in Capiz, Visayas.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And wait, what was I going to ask you?
Well, big up. I'm Iloilo, so there you go. So,
Okay.
like, besides in the house, so,
Hey.
give a shout out. Okay, so how did the Banana Ketchup comedy series start and lead up to the eventual Filipino Comedy Festival?
It started I'd been doing comedy for about 2 years, and then the pandemic was hit in 2020. I really knew that I wanted to do an all Filipino lineup, but we were supposed to do something March 13th, 2020, and that's when everything shut down.
Exactly. Right on the day.
So I figured out, so that's when comedians started doing shows in the park. So I approached John Borromeo, who's a Filipino booker at the time at Stand Up New York, and said, hey, can we do a Filipino show? in 2020, and we did, and it was so much fun. All Filipino lineup, and I was like, this is pretty cool. Like I like this, and it just made me feel good. I was very happy to do it. So I then a few months later met Audrey, the owner of Cabecera. Yeah, and she approached me. She said, "Hey, my friend Deirdre is running for city council. Can you guys do a comedy fundraiser for her?" So I was like, yeah, we can do that. And that's how I met Deirdre and Audrey. And then it came to the idea. Audrey's like, you guys should do a comedy show or night here. And I was like, that's an amazing idea. So then that's when I partnered up with Kyle. And I was like, hey, do you want to do this show together? Because it's so hard to produce. You know what it's like. And then we started doing our weekly show at Cabecera. And that evolved to like a showcase that we did, I think in 2021 with Rex Navarrete was our headliner. Yeah, it was such a treat. And that went so well that I'm like, okay, now we're going to do 4 shows. And then last year we did bi-coastal. So we did San Francisco for 4 shows and New York 3 shows here. And yeah, it's just grown into like this huge like community. It feels really good. And just like, I mean, when you get that many Filipinos in a room laughing together, like the
It's loud.
energy. Oh, yeah. so my husband's watch was like giving the sound alert, like dangerously high levels of, like you can injure your ears or whatever. So it's just such a good time. And it's just so special because I've gotten really great opportunities, and I want to be able to share that with upcoming Filipino comedians, because there's so many of us, and we're so
Funny.
we're so funny, we're
talented.
so like talented and charismatic, and it's everyone deserves a chance to have like a great tape from a great club, some great credits. Festival credit, just meeting each other, knowing like, hey, there's comedians who are Filipino in Chicago. So if I go on tour in Chicago, like I can reach out to them and be like, hey, what are the good shows out there and stuff. So it's building our own network.
Do you find that it's easier to promote because it's Filipino, or have you found like difficulties promoting it in the community?
It's a little bit of both. Like it's nice to have like such a strong point of view and be like, hey, this is what you're gonna see. Like Filipinos who were funny. And then on top of that, like even filter down to a greater theme. Like we had in New York, we had the young up and comer show that you went to.
That was a great show, by the way.
It's so much
was
fun.
great.
It's so
Yeah.
fun. And then we had like a Titos and Titas show. That started at like 5:30. Perfect.
Yeah.
That was the really loud one. And just to be able to see that there's all different kinds of Filipinos within our own community. That said, I do think marketing wise, like we have to look at like, okay, how do we sell the Filipino experience to not just Filipinos? And I think it's important to like also say, hey, like we're also parents, we're also, husbands and wives. We have these universal experiences that aren't just Filipino as well. So we can like, we're only, what percent of the population, and we want people to come and enjoy us like as much as they enjoy Jokoi, who's so universal and loved everywhere. So
Since you brought him up, has he opened the door for you? Do you feel like the temperature has opened because of him? Or?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like everyone knows like about Jokoi's mom, you
Yes.
know, and
Yes,
so
yes, yes.
And it's not just like her being a Filipino mom; it's her being like a character, like an overbearing mom that so many like families have.
Yes.
So I love him. He's
That I
great.
think every culture can identify with. I feel like it's not just our community. I mean, our culture that goes through that with their moms.
Yeah,
So that's-
exactly.
So, on a related topic, because I've thought of a lot of this because I always hear this as complaints with Filipino comedy is sometimes it's too Filipino, and then sometimes it's not Filipino enough. But from your experience of putting together shows and also as a performer, do you feel like something like the Banana Ketchup uh, series allows a Filipino comedian to like spread their wings, say, yeah, I could go all in and do just straight up Filipino jokes, or I don't have to, and I have that opportunity to just work on general topics. What is your thoughts about all of that?
Yeah, no, I think they can definitely do both. Like when we had Rex on, it was like full Filipino, like he was going in and like Taglish, everything, and it was so solid. And then you have someone who's very American, like Michael Cruz Kane, who's a writer for Colbert, and he does just totally different jokes, very American. And it's like it's almost like whatever you want to do, because especially New York and San Francisco audiences, like we're very American too. So we can go in and out of Filipino humor and both American humor as well. Like it's if funny is funny.
Yeah.
You know, like if someone is good, like I can go to a Latino show and be like, oh my God, great, like so much fun, not Latino. Well,
Yeah.
we carnivore, but anyway,
That's debatable. No.
but yeah, funny will drive it home. So no matter what it is, it can be laughed at. Yeah, for sure.
So, Banana Ketchup is mainly Filipino, but you also have other AAPI communities in your shows. Like, how important is it for you to be inclusive of the whole Asian community?
Yeah, you know, if Sheng Wang is in town again, we have him. Like it's so much fun because again, like we have so much in common with them. Like you know, he has a great bit about insurance, and we all have it. You know, well, we all should have insurance. But you know, it's important just to build that network as well, because I feel like if we can support other cultures, races, they can support us and become familiar with what we like to do and our stuff. So we can go mainstream too.
Yeah.
We have a lot of things in common that, and that's at the end of the day, we want to try to bring us together. So going back to your work, I checked out all the coverage that you guys had, which is pretty amazing. Like getting Vogue Philippines, Next Shark, etc. Humble brag. What part of your story do you think has resonated with so many people that they're like, oh, okay, we got to tell this comedy story? You know, usually it's like the next Broadway artist, singer, or whatever. But why do you think what you guys have accomplished has just resonated with the Filipino community in general?
I think it's very unique to have a Filipino voice, especially that's a group that's Filipina led as well. No offense, but you know, it's like, you know, because when people think of Filipino comedians, first name is Joe Coy, then it's like Rex, then it's, you know, all these other guys who have just, they're not necessarily better than us. They've just had the opportunity to do it longer. So I think it's nice to see that two women can lead this group, and also with a Bindle Stiff, you know, it's very women-led. We worked with Rhoda Gravador and Deborah Bilale, who are two strong female comedians out in San Francisco. And let's be honest, women get things done. Like we
and Filipino women get a lot done.
We
Yes,
do.
we do.
Like,
Yep.
I mean, for all the PR we had, we didn't have the budget to hire somebody, so it was me just like, okay, who's doing this? Who's writing this? Who can I reach out to? And for Vogue, it was like I reached out to a friend who was friends of another friend who eventually got me to the features editor. And the person who wrote the article, Mariel Jimenez, is a comedian and mom and writer in New York City. Yeah, so she was able to pull this great article together. And I'm like, wow, you are really talented. You're like, oh my God, you made us sound amazing. And I think that's unique, that it's female led. I also think that my own personal story is unique. Like I didn't start until much later in life. I'm a mom. I was in the beauty industry for like 15 years before I even started doing comedy. So just layers upon layers of things that maybe we were told that we couldn't do, or not directly told, but except for my mom telling me to not be the class clown. Yeah. But just kind of like accepting that maybe it's not for a woman, not for a woman over 40, and we'll do it anyways. So it's being brave. Yeah.
I know, I was impressed. I was like, yes, 2 Filipinas. I'm fucking excited. That's why I was like, whatever you need, like, let me know. I still have to catch a show. It hasn't aligned yet for me to check you out. Do you have any shows coming up this week?
February 5th, I'm
Okay.
doing Doctors Without Boundaries.
Ooh.
The host for that show is Aaron Bola, who is a doctor and a Filipino comedian. And
That's
he's
awesome.
amazing.
Oh my gosh.
So
Okay, I'm
gonna
gonna
do
try to
that
come out to that
show
one
next week.
Are you doing comedy full time?
I do it as much as I can.
Okay.
So during the day, I work part-time at my kids' old elementary school for 4 hours a day.
I mean, that's awesome. Good for you.
And then at night, I am doing shows, open mics, like writing, everything that I can do.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's
So,
so fun.
since you started this series, what is like the best thing that's happened to you because of it?
Oh my gosh. So, okay, Vogue was amazing. Just being like myself on stage has been, I've been so lucky. I've gotten opportunities at really great clubs like West Side and New York Comedy Club, where they're like, yeah, come in and host. And you're just there, and you get to you really, when you're hosting, especially, like there's stand up and you're performing and doing all the jokes that have been written and edited. And I feel like when I'm hosting, that's when I'm really, really myself, because then I'm just talking to people. I'm like, hey, what do you do? Where are you from? And, they might say an Ivy League school, and I might get really excited as like a Filipino mom, or they'll say like, I'm from some small town in Ohio, and I'm like, I don't know where Ohio is. And it's just, but it's also like, I get to like be myself and be authentic and just be like kind of like the 10-year-old I was when I was little, like dancing in the living room and just having fun. And yeah, I love that.
for you.
Thank you.
I feel like as we get older, that's what we're striving for, to become like our younger selves. To have fun again and to laugh, right? Because I feel like as adults, it gets so heavy and so serious.
Yeah,
So I'm happy that I love that for you.
Thank
That's awesome.
you.
And it's that natural part too. It's like when you're doing the hosting aspect, it's just you're not focusing on like a routine. You're just it's a freestyle in a sense, but you're just being yourself, which we can totally agree with, doing all of the hosting that we've been doing as well.
I've also seen you too, though. Like at the last show, I saw like you were the one that you hosted or you produced it, right?
Yeah.
And just the joy that I saw you have, like watching it, it was interesting to see. Like you really love what you do, because I saw you watching each comedian come on, and like I could just tell like the love and admiration that you had for them. It was beautiful to see.
I do. I really love laughing.
Listen, it's a great thing to do. I loved it too.
I still host a weekly mic with another comedian, Alex, and we both love comedy so much. Like it's open mic comedians, or, people just going up. And one of our jobs is to like time everybody. And I'm the worst timer, because I'm like,
You're not
okay,
looking
you're
at the
over. Like
camera.
I have to light them, but I'm like, I'm just enjoying myself so much.
I think that's what I enjoyed about it. I enjoyed the show watching you enjoy it, if that makes sense. No, seriously, because I saw she just was.
She was
happy.
stalking you, but yeah.
No, I mean, I was there with her, so I was like, "Where are you?" And everything. You were just. It was beautiful to see.
All right, so speaking of that, you do these open mics. What would be your advice for a comedian, even a Filipino comedian, any comedian that would be thinking maybe this is something I want to do?
Oh my God, just try it. I feel like so many, especially like women, are like, oh my gosh, I cannot do this because I am not 110% ready. I need to do this. And you don't know if you're ready until you're actually there. And even if you're not ready, it's an open mic. It's low stakes. It's not going to determine the rest of your life. You're just there to practice. It's like, for me, going to an open mic or trying new stuff out at a show where the stakes aren't very high, like it's such a high pay off or return on the investment that you should just try it, and don't wait until you're old like me.
Stop.
No, just
Stop.
go for it, right?
Yeah.
Right, because you never know until you're there.
Yeah, I would be freaking out if like a joke didn't hit. But yeah, in
I know, me
in that
too, like-
situation of just
Yeah, how do you overcome that? Like, let's say you tell a joke and it doesn't land. Like, what do you do?
So I always record my sets, and if it's a new joke that doesn't work, like I will hear it and be like, okay, why didn't it work? And I edit so much. Like I will write down what was the funny word? Did I set it up properly? Was it relatable? Did I not say something before? Did I say something wrong? And yeah, I just go back and try it again and from a different angle. And then I try again from a different angle. And if it still keeps bombing, I let it go.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like to get to those there's jokes, it's a lot of preparation, and you have to let go of you're a writer, so you have to let go of a lot to get to like the really good stuff. So it's
a lot of editing.
a lot of editing, and like you want to make it look like, oh, I'm just thinking of this now. But really, it's taken so long to get there. And so,
they don't see the process. Yeah, no, it's hard work to make it look easy.
Yeah,
so.
but you have to shake it off. And like, I feel like, at least like for me as a comedian, like sometimes if I bomb, like I will be like, okay, I have a family who loves me.
You gotta reassure yourself. Yep.
I know. Like, the affirmations. I am loved. I have food to eat. I'll be okay. Like we're lucky.
At the end of the
we
day,
get to do it. Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's not the worst thing in the world if a joke didn't work. But
Yeah.
that's like
I give
I
you
just
props.
see anxiety. I feel like the aura of like nerves and like
yeah. No, I've
fear
walked
is
home
coming
where I've been if I have bombed, and a bomb will kick your butt into working harder.
I love that.
After like I cry to my sister about like quit. She's like, shut up. You love it. You love it.
How do you balance being a comedian and a mom? How does that?
You just figure it out. Like it's like anything new. You figure it out. It's not 100% everything. But I use Google Calendar. I have a paper calendar. My kids have calendars. We have a calendar on the wall, and I'm just going through
That sounds like
every week, every week. And, I'm just spewing off my kids are 16 and 13. So I'm just spewing off in the group chat. Like, you have a doctor's appointment. This is this, that is that. And it's not a group chat. It's a monologue. To me.
That's ours too. My kids don't respond.
That's a bar right there.
Or it's like,
They don't even do that. My kids don't even do that.
oh,
Very rarely will they give the thumbs up, or other
my
than that,
God.
they're just ignoring me. I just had a conversation the other day. I'm like, listen, it's very rude for you not to respond to me. I'm like, you need to respond. And he's like, yeah, okay. That like we were doing.
Yeah, Mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Cause.
Ugh,
Oh,
so
that
these
drives me
teenage-
nuts. Yeah.
these teenagers
like,
nowadays.
You can act like you give a crap about something, like
About me. I
Yeah,
want you
when
to
it's
act
with
like
your
you care
family,
about me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't,
Not in
it's not
public.
something me. I'm
Yeah,
your
it's not a
mom who gave birth to you. I want you to act like you love me. At least. Just act.
yo, I'm scared of her right now.
I know. I'm like,
Yes, Mom.
I was triggered. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm back.
No.
Yeah,
When they
right.
don't answer me, I like will literally just like if they're on the couch, I would just lay on top of them and be like, "Love me."
I do that too.
Love me. Put your arms around me and squeeze.
I do that too. My kids will be like, you know, that little pat. I'm like, or like a really light hug, and I'm like, tighter.
Tighter. Yeah.
I'm like, tighter.
Yes.
He's like, I'm like, tighter. I want you to squeeze me where I can't breathe anymore. That's how much I want you to hug me. Like, they
No,
just
my son don't want to
Okay,
hug me. He
I
hover.
feel
He does.
so
He hover. He's
bad.
too old. He does the hover hug. Like he doesn't want to
Oh.
actually like make contact with me. I'm like, all right. He wants to be like, hey, dad. But then when he actually hugs, yeah,
It's
it's like
like-
hand on shoulder, fingertips.
Yeah.
Oh my
See, I need that.
god.
With my girls, it's a different story. They're too small, you know. So
Aw, they're sweet.
yeah. So with the little ones, yeah, I still have them now, but
Your little
yeah,
ones
I'm
are
looking
sweet.
forward to more of that.
Yeah,
So
oh.
yeah, I think we have that shared thing of doing what we love, doing something creative, being able to balance because it's not like you're clocking in and you're clocking out. It's 24/7.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of thinking like because this is a big thing I think for both of us is the creative process. Because sometimes it's not like, hey, between 5 and 8, I can like bang out like say a routine or like what we like maybe we're writing questions, you know, for a podcast. Like, how are you able to like get in that headspace where you're like, okay, this I can do this when you have like your kids like, Mom, I need this. Mom, I need that. Like, what gets you focused?
So I do have daily habits that I do for writing. So I do it's from the Artist Way morning pages. So I do like just free writing for 3 pages almost every morning, and that puts me in a headspace just to start getting writing. I do text to myself at we talked about this too, like at midnight. What would be a funny premise, and then I schedule when if I don't have a lot of shows, then I schedule the open mics, and that forces me to write and to get up on stage. And even if I haven't written that much that week, hopefully something will come out when I'm talking about it. But luckily, my husband and kids inspire me to write comedy every day.
Well, okay, see, that's where I walk away.
That's hilarious.
My husband is my muse. Okay.
That's awesome. How does he feel about that?
Oh, he is a confident white man, so he's fine. He'll be
Okay,
fine. It's okay.
okay.
He survives. But he's like, every time he says something, and I'm like, let me get my notebook. He's like, no. And I'm like, hey, if you want that Netflix paycheck, you gotta suffer a little bit.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, he's my muse.
I see a notebook in your back pocket now. I'm gonna be looking. You got material.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so
So, what improvements would you like to see, like in the comedian space, like community-wise? Like, is there anything that you could use more support in, or to I don't know, help promote or?
What would I like to, oh gosh, I mean, I think a lot of what Kyle and I are doing right now is a lot of what we wanted to see. I would even love it more if I would love it even more if even more high level Filipino actors, comedic actors, and performers would reach out to us. I would love to work with Filipinos on Broadway.
Oh, I love that.
I don't know if they're probably so charismatic and funny. Yeah, they've got the riz, as my son would say. But
I think that would be actually pretty awesome. Yeah.
yeah, and there's so much like I just want to see also a Filipino family portrayed on TV. In an honest and funny way. Not so much like everybody's a nurse, everybody does. Like, I would just like to see an everyday Filipino family and just see their interactions.
Like the banter back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be nice. I would like that too. Yeah, because right now there's not much, if any, out there.
Yeah, it's the stereotypical things.
The
but,
most was
it's
like
in
in
doses.
Spider-Man.
Oh, with the Lola.
With the Lola. That
Yeah.
was the most I've ever seen as far as banter in like a main, right?
in a like huge major motion picture, like
Yeah.
the fact that there's like a Lola speaking Tagalog and you're like, what the I'm
Yeah.
like, what's going on here? And I'm like, oh wait, this is Spider-Man. Yeah, I see that.
But just the way that they
Yeah.
went back and forth too, like I thought that was, but it was so small.
Yeah.
Just like a fraction. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe not just a fraction.
Yeah, you
Maybe
want,
like a bigger slice of the pie.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly. All right, so we usually end our episodes with our last question, and it's just what you see in the future. How do you see yourself and your legacy as a future ancestor?
I'm 48. I'm already an ancestor.
Oh my God.
You're hilarious.
Yo.
No, you're not. You're still so young.
Yeah, 48 is not.
Yeah.
48 is not.
Wait, okay, serious. What do I see for?
As a future
your ancestor.
ancestor.
How do you see your legacy?
Oh my gosh. I just want to see like as many Filipina women come up as stand-ups because they are so funny and powerful, and just to go for it. I get like a few times, maybe a month, I get messages like, "Oh, how can I get started? How, can I do this?" And it's like, just here's a list of mics. Like, here, just try. Just because they are probably so funny and so ready, and I just want to see as many Filipinas and Filipinos and everybody come up and be successful.
I love that. You know that Banana Ketchup is a legacy, though, right? Like, that is your legacy. You're opening up the doors for Filipinos to come together in comedy. That's huge. It's the first one. Thanks. That I know of. Sorry,
I think
there's more.
no, I think
No, there's been a history of, I would say, like Filipino comedy nights, but I remember like way back when that it would be like a handful of people. It would be hard to get to book, and you would see it, and then yeah, it's like the people who paved the way, like a Rex Navarrete, who like
Yeah.
got people actually in the door, you know, and then other people would start, and yeah, these same open mic. So I come from the open mic background too, but more in the music and things like that. But we would have comedians too, and it's few and far between.
Yeah.
Especially Filipino ones.
And they
So
would
that-
like Rex would they would like get into a car and drive up and down
Yes.
California and stuff. And at
Yeah.
least now we have, Instagram and Facebook. Like we
Yes,
just
you
have
have
so many
other-
resources
yeah.
to be able
there
to
people will
reach more
know.
people.
People
Yeah.
will know. Yeah, New York, you probably get like what 30 people, and then like they didn't know, and you had to hand out flyers. I'm from the flyer generation.
I am
so,
too. I was
You know,
pregnant.
so I see
Flyers
with the
work.
work you
Flyers
do.
still
yeah.
work, though,
They
too.
still do work, but
All right.
cool.
So let's do this. We have a game to play with you.
Okay.
It's just rapid fire. So we're just going to ask a question. You're going to tell us what you think right off the top.
Okay.
You want
I'm gonna start.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, first one. What's one piece of advice that you always remember?
Oh gosh, one piece of advice I always remember. Someone told me to really commit to something well, like no matter what it is, like pretend like someone's gonna pay you like $1 million to do this one thing. So like even if it's hosting an open mic, okay, but if someone was gonna pay you like $1 million, you would be prepared. You'd have your list. Like if someone paid me $1 million to be on this podcast.
We don't have the budget, sorry.
Okay, I'm just saying, like, if you want to.
That's in the universe, right?
But
there.
it's like,
Yep.
okay, Patricia, like, wake up on time, get your shower in, like, wear something colorful, bring the makeup, like, just, and like, look up the people who are interviewing you, like, come prepared with your stuff you need to do, because it's someday someone will pay you $1 million if you keep going, right?
That is.
Knock on
that's
wood
a
right
goal.
there. All right. Next one.
Can you name a comedian that we need to talk about more?
Oh my gosh, Filipino comedians. One of my favorite Filipino comedians is Kevin Kamia. He's based out in LA. He is wildly talented. He's so funny. He was a writer on Margaret Cho's original sitcom. He plays the banjo and like 4 other instruments, and he has been around for so long, and he is just, he's amazing. So Kevin Kamia.
Kevin. Okay.
Okay,
To
next.
have him on. If he visits, let us know.
Yeah, for sure.
Next one. What is a joke that seems to always hit when you need it? What's your go-to joke?
Oh, it's about my kids. I say like I'm trying to be this modern Asian mom, but it's so hard to get rid of the Asian mom already in me. Like I don't care if my sons identify as a he, him, a she, her, a they, them, as long as they is a doctor.
Yo,
Really funny.
that's funny, but it hurts at the same time. 'Cause I'm Wasn't good enough. Yo, all right. That one is the one that hits.
Your intro song when you hit the stage.
Oh gosh, it totally dates me, but like, push it, salt and pepper.
No, but that's
That's
good.
a great song.
Yeah.
I love that song. I guess we're all dated now.
I know, we're all
We're
wild.
all dated. Thanks, Patricia. No, I'm kidding.
All right. Name one Name one movie that still makes you laugh after all this time.
Oh my gosh. What was the one with the two boys and they try to get alcohol and the fake ID says McLovin?
Oh, Superbad.
Super bad.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
that's a good
God.
one. Yeah.
It's like, actually, I want to watch that with my kids, my older son. I know it's like super inappropriate, but they're
yeah.
high school kids, right? Okay.
The penis drawing part, I think you can leave out, but I mean, I think that one is the one that's like,
It's
oh, I
boys,
don't know
right?
about that.
Two boys.
Yeah.
They have penises. I think it's fun.
Yeah, but the drawings are pretty. Yeah, they're at the end. Remember, they were in the credits. The whole list. Or they had it in the middle.
Remember penis drawings in there.
You don't remember the penis drawing part? Oh my god! All right, we're
Why
gonna
do you
leave that
remember the
alone.
penis
You
drawing?
go. If you haven't watched it, go watch it for yourself.
Why do you remember that part?
Very fixated. What happened
It's a
to
big part
you?
of the. It's a huge part of that
Jason,
movie.
It clearly was not a big part of the
No,
movie
it is
for
a-
us.
Huge.
You know?
Huge part of that movie.
You don't remember they had George Washington with like the wig on and it's drawn as a thing. Okay, we'll leave it at that.
Maybe we're talking about two different movies.
Super bad. No, it's super bad. I don't know. Getting a confirmation
Not
on
like
this.
super
No, but-
baddie on like Pornhub or anything. It was like real, like the real one. Are you sure? Kat and I are like,
I'm forcing y'all to edit this out now. So.
This is a part of her rapid fire. It cannot be.
Oh my god! All right, not wrapping up. Okay, we'll wrap it up now. All right,
Okay, last one. Do you have a favorite quote that you stand by every day?
oh gosh, okay, a little cliche, but like it's Gandhi. It's like be the change you want to see in the world.
That
It's just that's
sweet and simple.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
every day you can do it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Awesome. Well, that's it.
Thank you. Remember, you could check her out. Coming in September, Filipino Comedy Festival. You said you have a couple of dates coming in February as well. Is there any other projects that you want to shout out before we go?
I'm in the Y'all and Comedy Laughter Festival in April. I'm doing excerpts of my one-woman show called A Guide for Parenting for the Modern Asian Mom.
Oh, I love that. Don't miss that. That
All right.
sounds fun.
We'll have that all up there when the episode goes out, so you can check out all those dates. So,
Yes.
on behalf of Casarano and Jason Insight, this is Future Ancestor.
Thanks for coming.
you.
Thanks for being here.